Namaste and hello. I promised a friend that I would post a video about abuse and abusers. I had met her on an app called Whisper. It's an application on the Android foundation that allows people to post things anonymously. And because they can do it anonymously, they tend to post those things that are most dear to them. Of course, you got to dig through the pickup lines and all of that to be able to find the nuggets of service that people are looking for. Anyway, so her whisper read something to the effect of, "He hit me again today. What can I do to be better for him?" I came from a long line of abusers. My father was an abusive man and pistol whipped me and did a lot of bad things to me, my father, or my brother and sister, my mom. And so I know what it's like to be abused. And then as I was learning how to live life more effectively, I was an abuser as well. I never hit anyone, any woman, but I abused them through my jealousy and through control, emotional control, and mental I can't think of the word right at the moment. Anyway, so I have some experience with abuse. And one thing that I know is that the reason why abusers abuse is because they themselves are so insecure. They feel themselves to be so unworthy that the one that they abuse is so much better than them, that the only way that they can keep this person is to make that person feel less than they are. For example, all of my ex-girlfriends that I harmed emotionally, I hope you forgive me. I wish I could contact you and tell you that I realize now what I have done. They were all much better than I was, or at least much better than what I thought I was. And so the only way that I knew that I could keep them was to make them feel less than what they were, less than what I was, what I felt I was, so that I could keep them. Now, in my twisted mind back then, it worked something like this. If I make her think that she is so low, then I will be the only one who knows just how wonderful she is. So she must stay with me. And this is what the abusive mind works with. Absolutely ridiculous. But there you go. So, if somebody hits you, if you're in a domestic relationship and your spouse or your boyfriend or girlfriend hits you, then several things need to happen. One, don't let them get away with it. We teach other people how to treat us. When I say don't let them get away with it, leave. Right away, as soon as you can, just pack up your stuff and leave. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to stay away from them, but that comes with a qualifier. It means that you must stay away from them until they agree, not only agree, but they actually begin to seek help. Now, what I mean by seeking help, they need to go to an anger management class, and they need to continue to go to the anger management class. You can talk to them on the phone, but stay away from them in any form in person until you also get some professional help. The reason why you want to get professional help is because you've been abused. You've been traumatized. Now, for some reason or another, there is this unfortunate stigma here in America that getting therapy is a bad thing. That if you get therapy, you are actually just nuts or something. But that's so untrue, and it's so unfair. What therapy does is it helps you have a guide that will help keep you on track so that you can find those things in you that you can repair. They don't do it. All they are guides. It's you that goes into your own mind, digs up those things that need to be taken care of, and takes care of them. You do all the work. And if you don't think that that's so, think of this. If I chew your food, will you get the nutrients? Will you get filled if I swallow your food? No. So it's the same way with a therapist. They can't think your thoughts. They can't tell you what to think. What they can do is help you guide or help you ask the questions. They teach you how to ask the questions. So anyway, getting back onto abuse. So this is what happens after an abuse, an episode of abuse. Most of the time, someone abuses you, and they are, I'm walking my dog here, somewhere over here, and someone abuses you, there's an episode. Immediately afterwards, they get very remorseful. They beg your forgiveness. They may even cry. And it's very sincere. I mean, you definitely can tell that they're sincere. They don't, they're really sad that they've done this horrible deed. And things may float along very well for a couple of weeks, maybe even so much as a month. But then something happens. Some stressful thing at their job. They may go out and get drunk. Or high or something of that nature. And so they come back and there you go again. They hit you again. Again, they feel very remorseful. They promise never to do it again. Maybe they'll even go to a therapist or something on their own. But for some reason or another, they find ways of not attending every session. They work gets in the way and they couldn't go today. They'll go to next week. Or, hey, this is a one-time opportunity. Whatever. There's some sort of obstacle to them continuing their treatment. And it peters out. Well, they've treated you nice, and so you figure, well, maybe they don't really need it until the next time. Well, the next time comes along, and once again, something happens, and there they are, they beat you again. Now, during this beating session, what happens is your mind suddenly goes into freeze mode. And so, because if it didn't go into freeze mode, you'd be into fight mode, and you'd leave. So, the fact that you're still there, you froze. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. That's just what, if you're untrained, that's what you do. When I, come on, Connor, come. But during that moment of being vulnerable, that's when they attack your mind. You're no good. You're broken. Nobody will love you but me. You can't trust them. You can only trust me. They may wall you off from your friends. They don't want you to talk to them. They don't want you to go out after work or after school. This is an isolation tactic that helps them keep you under control. So the isolation tactic of keeping you away from those people who might help you see through the abuser's techniques. Because their greatest fear is that you will run across somebody who knows what they're talking about and can encourage you and motivate you to actually leave. Now remember, the abuser themselves hates themselves. This is why they can seem so sincere when they're apologizing. Because they are sincere. They hate themselves. They hate what they did. But they feel that they have no ability to overcome it. So each time that they abuse you, they hate themselves more. Now think about this. If I have a glass of water, what can I pour out of that glass? Water, right? Now if I have a glass of water, is there any way that I can pour out Coca-Cola out of that glass of water? Only if there's Coca-Cola in the glass, right? Well, the same thing's true about people who hurt others. I can't hurt you unless I am feeling pain, unless I have that in me. I can't hate you unless I'm filled with hate. So an abuser, they want to love. They want to love you, but they don't know how. This isn't a reason to feel sorry for them. Or let me rephrase. This isn't a reason to stay in an abusive relationship. You got to get out. Now, by leaving after the very first episode of abuse, you save yourself a great deal of trouble. The mind of the abuser is such that if you stick around after the first one, well, now they got you. Now they know that they can do that and get away with it. So they'll be more likely to do it again, not less likely. So, and then each time you stay, well, that just means that you're further into their grasp. So you really do need to get away on the first try. Now, if you think that you want to keep the relationship, then you have to use your presence as the stick and the carrot to get them to want to change. Now, this is a tricky situation because you can't change them. You can't make them change. You can't make them want to change. All you can do is you can say, hey, if you decide that you want to change for your own sake, whether or not I'm still involved in your life, then our relationship has a chance. But if you want to try and change just for me, that doesn't work. Because if they change just for you, then they can change back anytime that they want. If they change for them, then they're invested. They're not going to change. They're not going to change back. Does this make sense? Does this seem anything like... Is this resonating with you? So, when the dog's wondering why I'm walking back and forth along this portion of the trail, it's the only quiet portion of the trail here. I wish I could show you his face. Anyway, so it's a great contrast to the seriousness of the conversation that I'm having with you right now. So, now here's what you're going to experience once you get away from your abuser. At first, you're going to feel somewhat elated. Yay, I did it. I'm so cool. I was able to get out. I'm free. I'm free. Give it a little bit of time. Give it a little time. And what will happen is you'll start second guessing yourself. Did I do the right thing? I'm going to be alone. I mean, he told me that he was the only one that was going to love me. What if that's true? That means I have to go through all my life without being loved. But that's not true. This is just what he planted in you, or she planted in you. That's what they want you to think. But it has absolutely no basis in reality. You will be loved again if you seek out some help. If you seek, it's hard to look in this camera. Have you ever talked to a camera? It's difficult to just keep your eyes on the camera. Anyway, so it's very, they want you to want them. So this is their number one priority when they first start abusing you. They must make you dependent upon them for something so strong that it'll be almost impossible for you to leave. And that's love. They need for you to consider yourself so unworthy that they will be the only ones who can come to your rescue. And I'll tell you right now, that is just absolutely bull honky. Anybody, if you are a nice person, if you study and practice if you practice becoming physically, emotionally healthy, it doesn't matter if you're physically healthy. It matters if you're emotionally healthy. If you're an emotionally healthy person, you will find love flat out. But here's the thing. It's not so much what love you get, it's how much love you give. You give out love and people will love you. It's just a law of nature. So you concentrate on loving yourself and loving others. And all the love that you will want will just flow towards you. And all you got to do is open your arms to receive. So anyway, so here you are, and you've had this thought, going back to what happens after you break free. You have this thought that I need to go back to him or her. Well, it's reasons for this that you need a supporter. You need somebody to help you, to be there, that you can call and say, hey, wait a minute, I'm having this thought. Is it a good idea? As long as the person is in your corner and they know what you're dealing with, then they will say to you, yes, definitely, stay away, go get therapy. Now, these thoughts will diminish over time. You'll get to the point where, no, you don't need to go back. You won't even feel it. You'll get to the point where you are so proud of yourself, so standing in your own power, that you'll have no desire to go back. Now, perhaps your ex-abuser had decided that actually did go and get work, did work on themselves, and they've progressed quite a bit, and you can easily see it. Well, at that point, maybe you can give it a try again, because abusers do change. They can. I'm one, and I'm happy to say that I no longer consciously or intently abuse. I may cause some pain occasionally, incidentally, but that's more from misunderstanding than from an intent, the intent of an abuser. But you need to let them heal first. And then you also need to heal for yourself. Remember, this is all for you. It will benefit them. Perhaps you'll be the trigger that causes them to go seek help. So after you've been saved from wanting to go back, what I highly recommend is that you create a crisis plan. A crisis plan is a list that when you get in crisis, and crisis means when you decide that you want to go back, when you're having those thoughts, you develop a crisis plan that says you can call this person up and say, hey, I'm in crisis. And they can walk you through, they can kind of hold your hand until you're strong enough to stand on your own 2 feet again. Well, I just noticed the time went past 10 minutes, but I think I can do that. So when you get the crisis plan together, one of the number one, or the thing in the number one category there, the first slot, I would suggest calling the National Domestic Abuse Hotline. I know there is one. I'll look it up and post it with this video down in the section down there. That would be your number one call. First one, because these guys have been through it. They know what's good. They know what it's like. They can confirm all these things that I'm saying, and they have the resources to direct you to additional help. So I highly recommend it. Secondly, would be a close friend. Now, it doesn't have to be a friend, but it has to be someone close to you who supports your decision to not go back, not to resume your role as a victim. Another thing that I would highly recommend is that you seek therapy immediately. And I mean immediately because immediately after your escape from Oswaz, or I can't pronounce the name, but Alcatraz, the prison of the abusive relationship, this is a time in which, once again, you're very, very vulnerable. And you want to cultivate the experience of freedom inside yourself, inside your mind. If you try to do it on your own, you might be able to, but it's a very, very hard way to go. It's much easier just to accept help, to seek help. I'm going to list some more resources in the comment or in the description section. And for instance, one of the things that let me go back and try that one again. Sorry, rented lips. One resource is Byron Katie's Loving What Is. That's a really good, she has a really good program. You can look up examples of her work on YouTube. You can go to her website, which is www.thework.com. Well, I guess I'm running out of things to say at the moment. If you have any comments or questions, please feel free to make them down below. I will do my best to answer them as clearly and succinctly as I can. And I hope you can get away. And even more, I hope you can stay away. Gotta quit looking at I think I'm just going to block this lower portion here. But really, it's for you. But the whole world benefits. Because if you can get away, and if you can work your way through it, and begin to love outwardly again, then the whole world benefits from your love. Forgive yourself. That's a biggie. Forgive yourself. You didn't do anything wrong. Even if you stayed, you didn't do anything wrong. It's not you. I promise you, it is not you. Even your abuser in moments of clarity will tell you that. It's not you, it's them, and they know it. But I'm wishing you the best. I really hope that you can make it free. With all love and respect. Namaste.